Welcome to Magically Mindful, the podcast, where emotional alchemy, self-love, and soul remembrance collide. I am your host, Tesla, emotional alchemist, here to share my raw perspectives on growth, healing, and the journey back to your authentic self. Through soulful conversations and inspiring stories, this space holds the messy, the magical, and everything in between. Let's dive in. Hello, beautiful divine soul. Where do I begin? I gotta be honest with you, it took me a hot minute to get seated here and press record. I changed my outfit like multiple times and I was just not feeling any of them. And I was just feeling like a little bit in a lull today. To be fully transparent, I learned that my energy actually peaks down when I'm ovulating, which is where I'm at right now in my cycle. And yeah, so I'm just moving with the ebbs and flows of my unique energy, and I hope you are too. But aside from that, the past couple of weeks have been nothing short of magical. So, on episode 61, I told you all about what they don't want you to know about healing. And after releasing that episode, even just recording it, I realized that it was time for me to offer something new to my community. And I posted everything you need to know about this new offer, Soul Notes, on my YouTube channel last week. You can click this link above if you're watching on YouTube to head right over there. But I want to talk a little bit about Soul Notes. So, my greatest gift is my voice, and my deepest desire is to help people, to help you with what? With loving, understanding, and accepting yourself wholly, exactly as you are, unconditionally and radically. And I know that this can be a very challenging thing for many of us. And I walked that journey. I spent so many years hating myself, like the majority of my life. But as I got into my 20s, so I'm currently 29, but fortunately, the beginning of my 20s, I embarked on my self-love journey, and really the rest has been history. And in 2024, I overcame my once toxic relationship with rage and turned it into a positive one. So, throughout all of this journeying and throughout learning so many things and becoming certified in various modalities like mindset coaching and EFT, human design, astrology, and many more, I realized that I didn't wanna be put inside of a box and be contained to just one thing, and this time last year, I actually had just moved to California to escape the winter, and I attempted to go well, I mean, I did, like, I went full-time in my coaching business, but that part of my journey looked a lot like launching things, crickets, and then pivoting due to the crickets. And so I just felt like I hadn't exactly hit the nail on the head. Whereas now with Soul Notes, like, firstly, I am pleasantly surprised that I have this new offer because for about a month, I was feeling this intuitive nudge to launch something, but I had no idea what it was. And I just, especially I was on a break, okay, from launching offers because that's what I had done for like 5 or 6 months at the end of 2024 and into the beginning of 2025. So the last thing I had launched was a self-paced course called the Self-Love Blueprint, but instead I I am a manifesting generator and we are meant to pivot, and so I just do my very best to honor that part of me because it's a huge part of me and how I operate. So, what I ended up doing with the Self Love Blueprint was taking it off of my website, which actually just no longer exists. I don't even have a website anymore. And I just actually released parts from the Self Love Blueprint portal into my podcast, which you can find here on YouTube and or Spotify, wherever. So, yeah, I a couple like, basically, one night, I stayed up until 3 in the morning chit-chatting with my employee, ChatGPT, and I'm like, "Girl, I want to make something that honors my energy, that doesn't put myself or my client inside of a box and yada, yada, yada. And so that was a Friday night. And then boom, by Tuesday, I was announcing it, which was crazy to me because just how I had done business up until this point was very much like, I need to spend all this time in the sales page and getting it up on my website and yada, yada, yada. And this time it's like, well, my sales page is on my Instagram in my Soul Notes highlight. Check it out if you want more information. And yeah, it feels so good because everything that I want to share with you today about like how the past couple weeks have been magical, that's a huge part of it, but it's very much been about being in flow and this new information that I've learned and just these powerful reminders from some things that I'm partaking in at the moment, which we will get into very soon here. So, yeah, with soul notes, I really like my going back to this, my deepest desire is to help you to feel and be so seen and heard. And that's what's beautiful about Soul Notes. So it is a either 1 week or 1 month that we have together inside of Telegram. And our primary form of communicating is with a voice note. And I love voice notes because there's so many benefits of it that I think we don't even realize. And honestly, my friend who I have been voice noting with for years now, and we support one another inside of voice notes, partly because we don't live in the same city, but the other part because of these following reasons. It's like sometimes when we are talking to someone face to face or even on the phone, there can be hesitation or fear. Whereas when you are about to record a voice note, all you're doing is pressing record and it's just you, yourself, and the mic on your phone. So that just kind of takes out any fear or doubts, hesitations. Then you can also re listen to them and archive them, save them forever, forever and ever and ever. And it's like reading a book, right? Like we could read the same book 3 times and have different results or like takeaways rather every time we read it. And so it's the same thing re-listening to a voice note where like yes, it's me by me at my natural form, I just coach. So that's what this is, right? It is like coaching, but with my own flair and unique twist and style because it I don't before I even say this, I can like it's overcoming my body of like I just don't like rigidness. Structure is important, but like rigidness or like time constraints, all of it like boxing the idea of boxing myself inside of something, like my magic just doesn't flow that way. And so even with my podcast, I can go on tangents, but we always bring it back home and we get to the destination. But the beauty lies within the journey. And that's also speaking to why I created Soul Notes is that with this format of I'm checking in, we are not even checking in, just we're talking every day, either for a week at a time or a month at a time. This is so important because when we need support the most, I mean, I can only speak for myself, I suppose. So I'll do that as our example here. In the past, several years ago, I had hired a relationship coach. And it was interesting. It was held by a psychologist. I believe she was a psychologist. I think. Anyways, it was online, but it was like a woman's group type thing. So we met once a week in a group on Zoom. But then inside of however long the container was, I honestly don't remember, but we were allocated, let's say, 3 one-on-one sessions with the woman who was hosting it. And our partners could join in on those calls if they wanted to. So I thought that was amazing that we were able to have that time built into the container. However, I remember there was a time where my partner and I were really struggling, and I needed her, like the coach or whatever she was. Because I'm like, was she a coach or psychologist or all the above? So we'll just call her Carrie. That's not her name. But, like, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I need Carrie. I don't know what to do right now in this moment." And I reached out to her outside of our allocated time, and, you know, that technically was probably overstepping a boundary, but I was desperate in that moment. And, she did respond, but I believe she reminded me that, we can't do this at this time because this is not inside of the container. And all that to say, life doesn't happen inside of a scheduled call with someone. And don't get it twisted because I do have a therapist and I love my therapist and our sessions together. Has Have there been breakthroughs and things come through in sessions, whether it's with her or other practitioners? Yes. But what is also so important is the integration time. So, Soul Notes is like a beautiful complementary to whatever you're already doing for yourself. But what makes it unique is that I'm here to support you on the daily, during the in between moments of when you had therapy to when you're going to go and, do some other type of therapy modality. So I just think it's so important, especially because I know some of us can find ourselves in situations where we don't have people that we can trust to talk to about certain things. And if you've been, following me for a while, you know that I am a very open book. I've been very vulnerable just inside of the podcast talking about my journey with overcoming rage. But when I was first talking about it and first launched the podcast, I was still very much on that journey. I had not alchemized it. But I shared because obviously it's important because I know I'm not the only wasn't the only one going through that. And aside from that, it's just like what I'm here to do is create such a safe space and hold this space, cultivate it so that you can come and share what is present for you, what's on your heart. And the flexibility, the fluidity is the essence of Soul Notes because there's no pressure or expectations. Of course, depending on like what support you need, we can create a plan of action. Like we will do that, what do you want to get out of this week or what do you want to get out of this 1 month together? That is very much present, but each day we feel different. And that's why me opening up this episode, I'm like, yeah, I'm ovulating right now. And the norm is that I should actually have the most energy, but I'm opposite from the norm. So, here I am and I'm whatever. So it's like every day is so different. So, all I ask from you is just to be open, be honest, get vulnerable. And I can help prompt you if you, have any hesitancy around it. But this is a completely confidential, safe space. And the more you put in, the more you're going to get out of it. So if you love listening to me on my podcast, just think that, but I'm in your pocket, literally at your fingertips for 1 week at a time or 1 month at a time. So very excited that Soul Notes is here in the flesh. If you want to learn more, and also I'm actually offering a 1 day free trial. So if you want to learn more, if you want to claim your free trial, you can send me a message on Instagram, DM me the word voice, or you can just comment below and we'll be in touch. Okay, well, I talked at that about that longer than the YouTube video I made about it, but I needed I needed to get that all out, okay? Because this is what's new in my world. So, very interesting, like I said, that came into my reality and we birthed her in just a couple days. Now, the next thing that I want to share is this 30-day money challenge I'm doing. It's called Mind Your Money, and James Wedmore, he is the host. I did not know about this man, which is very interesting because he is like a goat in YouTube, essentially. Um, or maybe not, like, he's like an OG in the sense that I don't know. If you wanna learn more about him, just search him up because I don't wanna butcher it. But I'm loving what I'm learning from this challenge, and I have my notebook here because I wanted to reference something that he said that I was like, "Oh my goodness, light bulb moment." So he said, "To the degree that you accept what is the degree that you have the power to do something about it." And how I like to say it, to the degree that I accept what is the degree that I have the power to change it. So, what I've been learning in this challenge thus far, I'm 7 days in presently, it's all about money, but the things that are being taught can very much be applied to any area of life, which is why I wanted to share this in this episode because prior to doing this money challenge, another one of my expanders, Marley Rose Harris, I have been following her and I had taken one of her courses for several years. Well, it's been a while since I did her course, but yeah, I haven't kept up with her as much, let's say in like the last year, but recently I had been seeing posts from her where she was talking about because she's like a money mindset, very into subconscious rewiring, mentor and coach, like business coach. So she had been saying in some of her posts that you have to take full responsibility and ownership for your current financial situation. And a couple months ago, I think it was episode 50, I don't remember. I'm just going to post it here. It might be 56, but I was talking about why I'm so happy despite being 41K in debt. So that was the name of that episode. And yeah, I have shared with you that what's been most present for me and a goal that I set out for myself for 2025 was to heal my relationship with money. And yeah, it's been interesting for sure. But something that I hadn't done or even thought to do was to take this ownership. And then lo and behold, on day 3 of this challenge, James is talking about this. And so he opened up that day with that quote. And the activity we were invited to do was to write down our current money situation. So writing out like how much do I owe? Do I have any debt? What are the sums of my past choices? So what's your account balance? All of that, investments. So I write all this out. And then he says, I want you to go through each of those things that you just wrote down and I want you for each one, place one hand on your heart and one on your belly and say, I choose, for example, to have $100,000 in investments because I choose to have $100,000 in investments. So that is not true for me, but soon come, soon come. So that's why I wanted to use that as an example. But The so I'm like, "Okay, this feels very uncomfortable." Like, well, firstly, writing all of the things down felt uncomfortable, and for me, where it comes up in my body is in my gut, in my sacral. It feels so uncomfortable and like, bleh, that's what it feels like or felt like. So there's these emotions obviously coming up when you're facing anything, but in this case, it was my financial situation. So then he had us do the I choose statements so that it would help to release the emotions attached and tied in with the money situation. And holy shit, did that ever work? And he said, why we're using I choose is because your soul, before you even incarnated, chose to have these lessons and or have these experiences and learn these lessons. So when you choose and you're taking this ownership, like you take that power back. And again, to the degree that we accept something for what it is to the degree that we can change it. So all of this was like, and I was like, whoa, holy, 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 holy moly. I'm trying to swear less on the podcast because I don't know if the YouTube gods like that. So otherwise, I'd probably be saying the F word, like, holy. So for my visual listeners, you know what I just did there. Anyways, yeah, it mind blowing to me. It's like simple, but our minds don't always like operate in this way. And interestingly enough, going back to Marley, a few days ago, I did one of her live workshops and it was called how to attract 10K months with ease. And she really puts the emphasis on like I feel like with James and in this challenge, he's getting us very aware of what like so far, I mean, I'm only a week out of 4. I'm 1 week in out of 4. But it's very much like, okay, consciously, what are your money stories and beliefs? Whereas Marley really brings in the subconscious. And I have a background in subconscious rewiring myself. So, all of this is like a beautiful recipe for success. And in this masterclass, she took us through her process of how to uncover limiting beliefs and subconscious fears again around money, but it could be applied literally to anything else. And it is crazy how this is just all connected. So bear with me here. Something that I have really worked hard at, and I feel like it is something that is in my past now, like I embody it, is my worthiness, being enough. Because, like I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, having spent the majority of my life hating myself, I obviously didn't know my worth. But when I embarked on my self love journey, it was like, wait a minute, I know my worth, or let's get to know her better. And, you know, in terms of self love and all of that, like, yes, I feel that I very much have that down to a T. Like, I really, really, truly love myself, accept myself, understand myself, all of it, unconditionally, exactly as I am. But I wasn't always that way. But now, like, it has been that way for several years. And it's so interesting because the worthiness or unworthiness wound is a deep one. So, a couple years ago, when I did my coaching certification, one of the things I was being certified in was subconscious rewiring. And so on Zoom, we got partnered up various times to practice the technique on each other. And I wanted to release anger. And we were taught that when releasing anger, you always want to release like sadness as well, because that's underneath of anger. And so my partner went ahead and guided me to release anger at a subconscious level. And then we went in again to release sadness at a subconscious level. It's very important when you're doing subconscious rewiring that you are not associating yourself into these past memories, like the root cause. You want to be very like much away from it because it's a visualization. So you want to be like high and above this experience. And in order to release at a subconscious level, like we do in a subconscious rewiring session, we bring you back to that root cause event in a way that does not re traumatize. That is so key, which is why subconscious rewiring is very effective. So, lo and behold, I had actually associated myself into the root cause event slash memory of this sadness. And I walked away from that session and it was not her fault. And it's kind of in hindsight, it was good that I had this experience because I know, okay, this can happen. So like how can I, you know, w- do everything in my power to make sure that I'm facilitating sessions in a sense where, my clients don't have that same experience that I did. But everything happens for a reason. So I walked away from that practice session feeling like absolute shit. And all of these feelings that I had thought I overcame around my worthiness, like just washed over me. And I had to go to work that day. But I was like, okay, what can I do before I go to work to like shift this? Like, I believe I meditated. I went out to my favorite place in nature and sat under a tree and meditated. I was doing EFT. I was doing everything that I possibly could. And I was like, what the hell? So I think then, yeah, I've had a follow up with my partner inside of the program and, she cleared it for me. So then I was feeling better again. But I was very much surprised at that experience because I thought I overcame this already. Okay, so fast forward to now, I'm in Marley's class and we're talking about limiting beliefs around money, and she's saying some things as examples. And of course, like very common, this I am not enough or I am unworthy of money that comes up for a lot of us. So naturally, it got brought up in this class. And my mind, my conscious mind, my ego, if you will, was like, nah, that's not for us. We don't claim it. And then thank God I had a moment where while I was still in the class and I'm like, Tesla, this is subconscious. This isn't about your conscious mind, babe. This is subconscious. And then I was like, oh, frick. Okay. Yep. We got to clear this. I'm unworthy of money. And another linkage to that limiting belief was money will leave me. And it was like ding, 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 like, here you go, like, boom. Because for me, I have inside of my toolbox the ability to clear limiting beliefs using subconscious rewiring on myself whenever and as often as I please. And to be quite honest with you, I that was a goal I had for the year, like use it, like do it daily or once a week or something. And I only just did it for the first time the same day as this class. And I was like, okay. Anyways, whatever. Well, sorry, where I was going with that is I think why I have not done it as much as I'd like to or at all is because I'm like, I don't even know what my limiting beliefs are because I did spend so many years working on my mindset and getting it to a place where it's positive. So it has been harder for me to recognize, like, okay, what are my limiting beliefs? Because I don't even want to believe that I have limiting beliefs. But I took this ownership of, hey, I have this limiting belief. I don't want to admit it, But I admitted it and whoosh, it was like fairy dust came over my day because that same day after just taking that ownership, I got a very exciting email. I got a very exciting email. And the only time I've ever spoken about this was on that episode, Why I'm So Happy Despite Being 41K in Debt. That was back in July. I spoke about applying for a job that felt like a hell yes. And I say in the episode, I'm like, this is it. I know this is it. I'll keep you posted. I'm expecting to hear from them soon. And I didn't hear from them right away. Like I said, that was July. But just a few days ago, now in September, I heard from them. So things are still marinating, but it's done. I know it's done. I know it's happening. And so I'll be very excited to spill all the tea on that once it is in the 3D. But this is this is powerful. This is so powerful. And what I really want to bring the focus on, I wanted to give you all this context and why I even I'm speaking about this. I love to give all the details and the context, right? But really, what I want to share with you is that taking ownership of where you are at right now, even when it feels uncomfortable, it's going to one, help you lessen the triggers, like triggering emotions around that. And two, when you accept it, you're going to be able to change it. And three, before you know it, it'll be a thing of the past. And it's easy for us to fall into these feelings of shame or guilt because for myself, it's like, okay, with this unworthiness thing, it was like, oh, no, like, I know, I thought we already overcame this. Like, it feels like a setback, but it's not. It's not. It's an indicator of, what can be healed or just needs some more TLC. And, using something like subconscious rewiring is very effortless. Like literally sat here on this couch. I played my subconscious rewiring track that I recorded for myself and I cleared that belief in 12 minutes. Now, there's levels to this, right? Because when we're talking about subconscious rewiring and clearing things at a subconscious level, sometimes it does take one sitting, one session, or sometimes it can take multiple ones because there's so many layers to our various beliefs. Whereas for me, right, it's like I did what I needed to do in terms of the unworthiness of love and my relationship to self, like that's already been said and done. Like we're good over there. So now bringing it over to the money part of the aspect of my life involving money, it's like, okay, that was just the next step. And who knows, maybe that comes up again in a different area of life. Cancel clear delete, like I'd prefer not. But if it does, that's okay because It's it's just like you chip away at it, right? But the most important thing is to accept it first. Like in that moment when I was on Marley's call, I had to accept it. And that looked like for me reminding myself this isn't a conscious belief, it's a subconscious belief. And our subconscious beliefs don't always come from our own selves. Like for me, it was from a past life. It wasn't even from this lifetime. So don't beat yourself up when you're looking at your limiting beliefs. Say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I have this awareness. And through this awareness, I choose to accept that I've believed this about myself, but now I choose to let it go. Use that statement. Write that down and copy and paste it to the things because even just with you listening to this right now, you may already have like one, two, three limiting beliefs that are constantly replaying in your life, like already coming into your awareness right now. So use that statement, copy and paste it for each of those things and start to monitor yourself day to day. And like, because these beliefs, our subconscious is running the show. And so the beliefs that we have at a subconscious level are they are the conductors. They are running the show. And I know I still have many many things to work through and alchemize or like even just rather clear and release at a subconscious level because I know that there are still some areas in my life where I'm like, "Uh, why is this thing not working out?" Like I have all the pieces here, but that's because it's at the subconscious level. So, even if you can just take a moment to write out 1 to 3 of your limiting beliefs and use that statement. And something that I also learned from Marley, I think I've mentioned this before on the podcast is so we have affirmations. We all know those like I am enough, I am worthy, but ask formations, so ask formations really help to trigger the subconscious mind, to put it to work, to rewire it and like reroute it. So my takeaway from Marley's class and ask formation that I walked away with is why does money love to stay with me? How does money love to stay with me? So that's what ask formations, how they're formatted. It's with a why or a how. So for you, it could be how or why am I so lovable? How or why am I so confident? How do I feel so good in my body? And when we do this, things will start to shift. Because when I first learned about ask formations was on a work or during a workshop from Marley earlier this year actually. And my ask formation was how am I so abundant? And a couple hours after hopping off of that live workshop, I received like $900 in cash. So it really does work. It does work, but remember to do it every day and, habit stack it with brushing your teeth or washing the dishes. And let me know when you start to see the universe and your subconscious mind working together and you receive the answers of how or why such and such is now presenting itself into your life, like, let me know. Let me know. I wanna know. Send me a DM on Instagram or comment below. And what I'd like to leave you with, going back again to this quote from James, to the degree that I accept what is the degree that I have the power to do something about it or the power to change it. Accepting your situation for what it is not defeat or failure. There's two parts of this phrase, right? Acceptance, to the degree I accept, is to the degree I can change it. So while it can feel icky to have to confront whatever is present for you right now, like you'll know, but whatever area of life it is, for me, it's been finances. For you, it could be love and relationships, it could be work, your health, whatever it is, it's gonna feel uncomfortable to be like, I accept this because I chose this, because naturally it's gonna stir up some emotions. Like for me, I felt major discomfort, but and I know like you could be feeling like upset with yourself, but this is not about going like we are not doing this is not digging a hole and inviting you to jump down the hole and bury yourself in it. Like, no, this is to empower you, but you have to remember, like, your perception is everything. So if you go into doing this, like, this choosing to accept and taking ownership, if you go into that with a negative mindset, you're going to get a negative result. It will, like, there's always two ends to the stick. One being it can uplift us, or the other, it can, bring us down. But I will always be someone that you can come to and trust to. I'm here to help provide tools and insights and guidance to uplift you, okay? So, if you are doing this and if you find yourself feeling like maybe you have like a lot of resistance to doing it because you're nervous of like going into the deep end, but some simple things that you can do. One, you could take advantage of your free 1-day trial of Soul Notes, okay? Remember, send me a DM on Instagram. Just send the word voice and I'll handle the rest. Or move your body. Move your body. Shift the energy. Shift that energy. So whether it's jumping up and down or going for a walk, a jog, even if you're unable to go outside, like you can do so much right inside of your space. So, I would say maybe, yeah, well, regardless of how you're feeling about what I'm sharing, and, if you feel the call to like try this out for yourself, I would say even before you go into that, like, can you make sure you have something solid that will help you if things come up. So, like for me, my go-to would be to jump up and down or to put on a song to shift the energy, grab your sage, smudge, okay, clear it out. And through that, it's just going to help you to stay grounded because this stuff can become intense. It can, but it doesn't have to be scary. I just want to give you all sides of the coin so that, you're not surprised. Like, I mean, some of this may surprise you, but just so that you have all of the resources in place so that you can receive the most benefit from doing this for yourself. So, if there's one thing you could take away from this episode, may it be that accepting where you're at is not a sign of accepting defeat or failure. It gives you your power back, it gives you the keys to open up a whole new world of possibilities and opportunities because to the degree that you accept it is the degree that you can do something about it. I hope you've loved this episode as much as I've loved sharing all the things with you. If you know someone who could benefit from hearing all of this, please share it with them. And if you happen to be listening on Spotify or Apple, I would invite you to leave a review, rate this podcast, an honest review, but it helps so that we can grow. And if you are watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe this video and share it with a loved one. Sending you so much love and good energy. You've got this. If this episode brought you clarity, insight, or a moment of reflection, I'd love for you to share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you share it on Instagram, tag me at magically.mindful so we can keep the conversation going. To stay updated on what's coming next, head to magicallymindful.ca. Thank you for listening and for choosing to honor your journey today.